Welcome, everyone, to episode 43 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. We have taken a couple week break, but we are back ready to go at it. We're not going to be talking about some of the things that we missed, but we will talk about all the action from last week, starting off with Monday Night Raw from last week, which began with the Wyatt Six versus American Made. Wyatt Six got the win. I wonder how long the WWE goes before they let the Wyatt Six lose, and I wonder who they let them lose to. Because obviously they're not going to go undefeated for their entire existence. So when do you think the Wyatt Six is going to lose their first match?
I don't know, but, and I know I'm fast forwarding to SmackDown, but I kind of have to. Their logo was in the background during a backstage segment when they were talking to when Nick Aldis was being interviewed. Like he was standing in front of like a concrete pillar or something that had the logo.
Oh, so are they coming to SmackDown then?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're going to be like a show-to-show kind of faction where they just go that way, but in terms of if they're planting the seeds, you would got to think they would probably lose to the Bloodline.
To the Bloodline?
Potentially.
I guess that we did talk about that previously. We had a discussion about Jey Uso getting involved. So, I mean, if he re-enters the Bloodline storyline, I think it might make sense. Or,
When I say that, the new Bloodline, because they're going after American Made. They appear to be faces at this time. So
wait, Jay's on Raw. What am I saying?
Yeah. No, but we did discuss that, though, about how they're going to bring him back into this.
Or it could just be if they're going after people that turned on their family. Solo, maybe? They go after Solo?
Yes. Yeah. And because that would be the whole faction, the whole new faction, essentially, from when they, turned on Jimmy. So
yeah. What if they show up at SmackDown and show up at NXT and go after Ridge Holland? What if they did that?
that would be great. Yeah.
Well, eventually, when they realize that no one cares about the Wyatt Six anymore, that could be a route that they ultimately go.
But yeah, I thought that was
I've pretty lost interest in it.
I haven't, because I really liked this match. I did. I thought it was very good, and I thought it was well done. Now, I guess I know it was a street fight, but I would have preferred to have seen the members that were actually part of the match just get the win outright, and then maybe have Uncle Howdy come in and do the Sister Abigail. But I mean, hey, it was an entertaining match. I think, man, they've got something good there with the Creed brothers. And if they can start putting more focus on the tag team division, that is a good, very good tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I'm just in light of the logo being seen on SmackDown, I'm just going to say the Bloodline for their first potential loss, and that would kind of be, if you think about it, a somewhat role reversal in a way. Because remember, the Shield. Like their first loss was to the Wyatts. And I know this wouldn't be against Roman Reigns, but, because, a faction that originally started with him, and then if the roles were reversed, and now the Bloodline gets the win over the Wyatt Six. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought that was one of the more interesting parts, the little Easter egg in the background on SmackDown. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but the match as a whole, though, I really did enjoy it. I thought it was good because, sometimes these street fights and all that can just get a little too absurd. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I want to talk about Joe Tessitore. What are your thoughts on Joe Tessitore?
I like him. I do. I think he's picked up pretty well, and yeah, I think he's doing a great job. You can tell he's very enthusiastic about it, and I think um,
Is he
yeah.
here to stay, or is he a stopgap until Pat McAfee comes back?
Oh well, McAfee's coming back. It's just a matter of
Right, but who takes a back seat when McAfee comes back? On which show? Where does it go?
I mean, have they said anything about his contract or for Testator?
I haven't seen. I mean, I'm sure they
Okay,
have. I have not seen anything yet.
okay.
So
I
that's
mean,
why it leads to speculation.
yeah, man, that's tough because um, I'm trying to think. They could. Oh, well, never mind. They could put Cole. I'm assuming when McAfee comes back, they're going to put Cole back on Raw when it goes to Netflix, and then it'll be Cole and McAfee, and then it'll be I guess Tessitore and I don't know. I
Still
don't
got
know.
Corey Graves out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, with Wade Barrett and
Maybe they're trying to write Wade Barrett off and get him off the team, and eventually let him feud with Drew McIntyre, and he's going to be an active wrestler again.
nah, he eh, I, from everything, all the little hints are pointing at maybe a farewell match, but I don't see him coming back to full time.
Yeah,
But
probably not.
yeah, that'll be interesting because I like Tessitore, but I don't know if this is just an already internally just a like a 6 month kind of a thing or what. But what do you think? I like him.
I like him. I'm always a little hesitant when outsiders come in, like Mauro Ronaldo when he came in. And I never really liked Mauro, though, because he was way too over the top for me. I don't think that Joe is over the top, but, all the Mamma Mia stuff and things like that I didn't like that. I know
I
some people did, but
I did.
it wasn't for me.
And but and I thought that really could have worked, but obviously there were some issues there by his own admission with some, I think some uh some
JBL was being a dick, wasn't he?
uh,
Bullying him.
well, that, and I know there's two sides to every story, but if I remember right with that, like, yes, the bullying thing, but then JBL, came out and said, my character is currently a heel. As an announcer, I'm being a heel. And and again, like you said, just the whole outsider thing. If you're not in there in the business, and especially on the commentary side, and get that dynamic of, the banner back and forth with your heel in your face. And I mean, just going back to, like, Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon on
Well, I would
the
hate that
microphone.
the bullying that he was referring to was on-air bullying, because I don't think that you can on-air bully somebody in wrestling, in my opinion. But I don't know. He was too soft. He wasn't made for the business. I know Joe's not as soft as he is, but
Yeah, and that's what I feel like there was some documented, like, just mental well-being stuff that he was dealing with as well. So
yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways, so how did we get there? But
I intentionally took you on a tangent, but
yeah.
let's go back to Monday Night Raw. And next up, we had Finn Balor cutting a promo. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we have a lot to cover today, but he made a comment. I think it was something along the lines of, you made Finn Balor a sidekick. Finn Balor ain't no sidekick. He's not wrong about that. I mean, Finn Balor's a main character. I mean, what was he, the first Universal Champion ever? And so WWE obviously views him very highly, but at the same time, he is no spring chicken. I think he's 40 or in either late 30s, early 40s. Right. So he's getting older. He deserves. I mean, he's uber talented, and whenever he gets an opportunity, he reminds everybody of that. It's just his opportunities have been limited because he was a sidekick, and in the Judgment Day, and he was viewed as such, and he was booked as such. So he had a very good point about that. Obviously, the booking of him, I'm assuming, was long term, and they always plan for him to be able to break out. But I just don't see him getting the win when the time comes to go up against Damian Priest when they get their pay-per-view match. I just don't see a world where he wins. So the question is, what do they do with Finn Balor once this Judgment Day thing dries up? And it's going to dry up, I would guess, pretty soon. I don't see it. I don't see the Judgment Day being a thing past WrestleMania.
No.
I know that's 7 months, so it's not like it's tomorrow, but still curious to where they're going to go with Finn down the road.
Yeah, and I liked how his explanation for everything was logical. Hey, we had an agreement. There were going to be no individual leaders, and you and Rhea both did that. And then the calling him out about the teased cash in with the match against Rollins that distracted him and cost the match in that one, in which I don't think, since that's been brought up, there's been a good rebuttal to that from Priest.
Yeah.
So, but I like that with just when because remember how they used to have the most random terms and just I'm beating him up because of this, and it was something preposterous. Like, at least this makes
the Big Show
sense.
made a career out of that.
Oh, jeez, yeah, yes, he did. but yeah, this at least made sense. So
yeah. It did make sense, but like I said, we're not going to spend too much time on that because, we're also probably not going to spend too much time on this. But Cargill versus the Unholy Union, Belair and Cargill got the win.
Is this when they got the belts back? No, I'm sorry.
They got
the
belts back at the
pay-per-view. Yeah, whoops.
This
was the rematch. This was the okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was the rematch. It was fine. Nothing objectionable, nothing great, nothing to write home about.
Jade is getting more and more comfortable in the ring, and I like that.
Yeah, you'd hope so. I mean, she's an athlete.
And she gets when to try to get the crowd into it, and it has worked every time.
Yeah, every people want to root for her. They want to root for her.
But I mean, how sometimes, and I'm not picking on her because I love Zelina Vega, but I've noticed in some of her matches, like when she tries to get the crowd into it in the middle of it, same thing. The crowd wants to root for her. They want her to win, but it's not always the intended reaction that she gets in response. But this with Jade, it's always very positive. Always like the fully intended response that she gets, at least that I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. 100%. But next up, we had a great segment. The return of Calgary's own Bret the Hitman Hart, the excellence of execution, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, and one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. He came to the ring and to a nice pop. It's always good to see Bret on TV. Always good to see him with a halfway smile on his face. Because I've always just wanted Bret to be happy in his natural self. But Gunther came to the ring as well, and Gunther had one of the best. He had one of the best deliveries of all time when he said that Bret Hart was his second favorite wrestler, only behind his childhood hero, Bill Goldberg. And he didn't just say Goldberg. He said Bill Goldberg, which for those of you out here, the 4 of you who are watching this show, who are probably family and friends, you might not know this, but every single time that Bret Hart mentions Goldberg, he calls him Bill Goldberg. He refuses to call him by just Goldberg. And Gunther was holding back laughter because he knew how funny what he was saying was. And for anyone who knows the beef between those two, I'm sure that you got a big smile and a big laugh. That was amazing. And
the crowd ate it up. You could tell.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Probably one of the best things said, in my opinion, in a WWE ring, and that is not hyperbole. Hyperbole. It was hilarious. Um, and eventually, though, Sami Zayn came out wearing a Johnny Gaudreau jersey, the fallen Calgary Flame who died at the hands of a drunk driver. Blew a .087. I don't know if you saw that. Not that high. Not that high. I wonder when more of the details come out as to exactly how it all went down. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. There wasn't really much to this segment except for getting Bret Hart on TV and getting Sami Zayn in front of his home crowd.
I have major issues with what they're trying to do here. Why? Okay. Gunther has been welcoming any and all challengers, and now all of a sudden he's not going to fight Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It's like, okay, you fought Damian Priest, who's, big dude. You fought Randy Orton, one of the best of all time. You've not turned away from
Sami Zayn.
Yes.
I mean, not for that title, but for the previous title.
But even that, and even in and they're like, oh, I've beaten you before, and just the logic behind it. It's like, okay, the whole point that they did behind that match was obviously to have the title taken off of Gunther so he could move on to King of the Ring and then where he is now. But it was like intentionally Gunther's ego getting the better of him. And it wasn't even presented in a way where like Sammy was on the same level,
Yeah.
And it's like, had they done that, I would be more okay with the hesitation. But it wasn't portrayed that way. But now they're trying to, and I don't like that. It doesn't fit the Gunther character. What it has been. It's pretty much been like, hey, you want some, come get some kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like this. I know they're trying to build the interest and all that stuff, but I do not like it.
I think that most people don't like most of the stuff that Sami Zayn has done in the past 4 months. And again, not a knock on Sami Zayn.
No, I love Sami Zayn.
But yeah, so do I. But the way I like things about Sami Zayn, but I do not like the way that he portrays his character in its current form. From an in-ring perspective, his in-ring style right now bothers me. Too many Super Cena, Hulk Hogan like things. You can't go a match without kicking out or hulking up or doing something that's just absolutely ridiculous for a man who has a dad bod. And he's like 6'2" with a dad bod, and he's out there just hulking up match after match after match. It's just not realistic. And I'm not saying wrestling has to be realistic, because in most situations it's not. But from an in-ring perspective, I want to believe what I am watching, and that's what makes a good match. You immerse yourself and you believe that they are actually in a fight. And when he does some of those things, it's abundantly clear that he is not in an actual fight, and that's just not okay with me. Not okay.
Yes, and going back to that, and the 4 of you know how I felt about the Hulk up at WrestleMania. I thought it was preposterous, especially the amount of moves that followed. But then it's like when they have it where Sammy does like the creative things, or just things you don't normally see in a WWE match.
Mm-hmm.
Like the brain buster on the turnbuckle, followed by the haluva kick. Yes, that should be winning a match. I have no issues with that.
Yeah.
It's just the stuff that they're having him kick out of and this and that. But then it's like, the cool stuff, like, hey, because guys like Sami Zayn are the ones that can, have those moves in the arsenal and, bring them out, and not use them too much, but like be like, oh, I've never seen that move, or I haven't seen that in a while, and stuff like that. I love about him, being able to bring that kind of stuff to the matches, but then I agree, the hulking up stuff. And I hate it because I do like Sami Zayn. I do.
Yeah, I think that WWE sometimes forgets about what the unintended consequence of having someone do something like that. It makes the other person look weak. And
Yes.
Vince McMahon, his thing was always, you got to make him look strong. You got to make him look strong. If you're trying to build up Gunther, it doesn't make him look strong when Sami Zayn is kicking out of every finishing move and no-selling some of his most vicious attacks. It makes him look weak, and which then when he wins, it then devalues. It can devalue the title as well. So it's a trickle down effect.
Yeah, I think I think though I think there's no chance in hell though that Sami Zayn wins. I think we all know that, and it's just a matter of, is it going to be WrestleMania or later, and is it going to be John Cena or Dragunov that beats Gunther? It's going to be one of those two.
Yeah,
but we shall see. Anyways,
you're probably right. But next up was Rey Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. Dominic Mysterio got the win. Decent match. Not going to go too much in depth into it, but Dominic Mysterio still has supersonic, ultraviolet, megaton heat, which is great to see. So no complaints there. And then we also got Lyra Valkyria, Natalya, Zelina Vega versus Pure Fusion Collective. And just based off of the fact that I don't want to say Pure Fusion Collective any more times than once, we're not going to talk about that match either. But Natalya, Valkyria, and Vega got the win.
What are they doing with Pure Fusion Collective? At first, when I came, I was like, okay, I like this, faction, tough, strong women, believable, got a good mouthpiece with DeVille. But now they're doing the same old thing. Like, they start building them up for a while. Now they're having them lose again.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. And Natalya is a phenomenal professional wrestler. In my opinion, I think she is very skilled and somebody that I think is imperative for the company to have, especially with all these bright or all these talented female roster that's on the up and coming with bright futures ahead of them. I think it's imperative to have somebody like her there to help them, to help mold them and teach them the ins and outs of the business. Yeah. With that said, do I think she should be toppling this faction that's supposed to be gaining momentum and credibility? No. But they did it at the expense of getting a pop in Canada.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I just don't, talking about the timing of things, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I don't like it either, which is why we're not going to talk about it. So next up, not Wade Barrett. Drew McIntyre cut a promo, came down to the ring, and it sets up a match that I think that we all knew was going to come. They are going to meet in the steel structure known as Hell in the Cell at Bad Blood. And I think that's going to be
Crash Out.
The end of that feud.
Crash Out.
Hopefully. And I only say hopefully because
No.
You don't need to go to 4. You don't need to go to 4.
No. I don't think. Okay, Triple H has discussed this, I think, multiple times. But part of the reason they got rid of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is because Triple H is one of those guys that's like, hey, this match was created with the idea that it's ending a feud.
Yeah.
Or that's what its intention is supposed to be. So that's why they did away with the idea of an entire pay-per-view being built, that it's saved for the final bit of a feud or the ending of a feud. So yeah, they've got to move on from this.
Seth Rollins, do we see him at Bad Blood? Does he play a role to help further his feud with CM Punk? I think that Drew McIntyre was content not fighting CM Punk again. And I think that is to set up what I think is going to happen is Seth Rollins is going to interfere in Hell in a Cell, and Drew is going to get the win with help from or interference from Seth Rollins. So then CM Punk can fully turn his attention to Seth Rollins, and then that feud begins, which will culminate at WrestleMania.
I don't think there's going to be interference from Rollins. I think saying that this is going to be the end of this feud, I do think we're going to finally see an AJ Lee appearance because this feud has become that personal, and I think we're going to see some sort of appearance from her during this match. But in terms of some type of outside or something, that's all I'm predicting for this one. I mean, just because that feud is already there, I don't think it needs that to progress to that point. But that's just me. I don't think it's going to happen here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, next up we had who do we have this time? Finn Balor versus which Mysterio? Rey Mysterio this time. I'm getting it right this time. Not Dominic. Balor beat that deadbeat to the ground and got the win. Rey Mysterio still ticking, 50 years old.
This had a weird ending.
Yeah.
This is like when he didn't break the count and they DQ'd him. I don't know. It just seems so odd. I don't know if that was intentional to like just make it a point like, okay, this had a crummy ending, so we're going to have something more definitive later down the line, and this is just a taste kind of a thing, or I don't know. I just thought it was very odd.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it was odd.
I liked it. I think Ray looked great. Timing was perfect between the two, in my opinion. And and maybe another reason I didn't like it that much either, because it was a good match until it just was over. So.
Yeah. But that was the penultimate match. The last match, though, was the Fatal 4-Way for the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Ilya Dragunov, Pete Dunne, Braun Strowman, and main event Jey Uso. Yeet! Are you surprised by the result? Jey Uso got the win. I think they really want him to get his singles title. I think we knew that Strowman was never going to win that.
I think the only reason I'm surprised, because I think at this point it's either got to be Uso winning or losing via bloodline interference. And they've kind of hinted at that a little bit on SmackDown, but I'll get to that later. But it was a line that, most people probably think is a throwaway, but I was like, that was kind of odd that Michael Cole made it a point to say what he said. We'll get to that later. But the only reason I was kind of surprised is because there were a lot of talk and speculation that this was going to lead to like a final, or a continuation of the feud with Dragunov and Breakker.
Yeah.
But with this, with Jay winning, though, I think it's either got to be, like you said, they're going to reward his popularity by putting a singles title on him, or this is going to be their way of getting him back into the Bloodline saga, which would make sense, because if it happens at Bad Blood, then you've basically got a month or a month and change to prepare for War Games.
I hope it's the latter. I don't need to see Jey Uso with a singles title. I just don't think that he's a singles competitor that needs to have that title. But it's been 5 months since we saw his brother. 5 months since WrestleMania. Five. It's time for him to come back. It's time for him to interfere inside his match at Bad Blood, or not Bad Blood. Yeah, Bad Blood. Time to interfere, cost him another title, so that storyline can go back up again. But
no, it's not going to be. It's not going to be Jimmy.
It's going to be Jimmy.
No.
Jimmy's either going to help him get the title or make him lose it. One or the other. Jimmy is showing up at Bad Blood.
No, Jimmy's not coming back and signing with Solo. You know that.
I don't know what I know. I don't know what I know.
He killed him with a chair.
I guess. You can always say sorry, though.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. But that wraps up Monday Night Raw, and we're going to segue over. We're going to segue over into NXT, where we saw some newer faces here in NXT, people I've never heard of. I want to start off, though, by talking about match placement. There were 3 title matches here on NXT on Tuesday. None of them headlined the show. That is a problem for me. If you're going to put a title on a NXT Tuesday regular show, and you're going to have 3 title matches, one of them has to be the main event. Yeah. Trick Williams is not popular enough, in my opinion, even though he's very popular in NXT. He's not like Seth Rollins or Finn Balor at NXT or any of those guys. He just has
right now he is.
No, he has a catchy theme song. He's not I need to main event over 3 title matches big. He's just not. But in my opinion, no one is in any level of show.
No, but in terms of crowd reaction, I have no problem with it based on that. But no, I 100% agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying if they're doing it based off of crowd reaction or popularity, especially in a venue like that, I get it. I do.
I just feel like his crowd reaction substantially goes down after his entrance. Maybe it's just me. I just think they love singing to his song. You know, Booker T loves singing to his song. And then after that, I'm not saying the crowd doesn't love him because they do, but he can't be the main event with Pete Dunne. He just can't be the main event with Pete Dunne. He can start the show with Pete Dunne and Trick Williams if you want to do that. But again, this isn't a pay-per-view. This is an NXT. This is a Tuesday. You shouldn't even have title matches on NXT, let alone 3. And then you make all of them take a back seat to that. Don't like it.
I don't agree with the not having the title matches on NXT.
3 though?
Okay, maybe not 3. But
like that's a full on heat wave, or that's like a full on No Mercy with that many title matches. I'm trying to think.
Wait a second, is this? Was that the last? Was that the last episode on USA? That
no.
Okay. It's not going to the CW this week?
Ethan Page said October 1st.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Is October 1st October 1st is a Tuesday. Yeah, he said October 1. So we still have tomorrow and the 24th, and then they go to the CW, is my understanding. I could definitely be wrong, but Ethan Page definitely in his promo on this episode said October 1. So he could have been wrong.
I don't have a problem with the man, I don't know. I mean, it's the Heritage Cup, the the TNA title was up for grabs in this, wasn't it? This is when Sol Ruca answered Jordan Grace, huh?
Yeah, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's just go ahead and start off with tag team titles.
Oh yeah, I'm just thinking of what matches were up for grabs here.
Yeah. It was Oba Femi's title, it was Jordan Grace's title, and it was this. And
the Heritage Cup, right?
But they already devalued TNA enough. Don't devalue them by then, putting that on. But whatever. I'm not gonna do that, because we're gonna start off with Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus the Street Profits.
You call him Nathan Frazier?
Whatever. Nathan Frazier. This was just a weird match. This was weird booking. Why are the Street Profits coming on NXT to just have the Bloodline come out for no apparent reason?
I don't know. I don't have an. I don't even have a speculation for this one.
Because we'll never see the Bloodline again on NXT, and we probably will not even see the Street Profits on there. So this made absolutely no sense. But Frazier and Axiom retained. Yeah, I did. The action in the ring was good before all the nanigans started. It just didn't.
I tell you
didn't
what,
make
though,
sense.
Man, I did like the presentation of them coming out in like regular clothes and not the ring gear, like the Bloodline. They look good, man. Like coming out like that, I was like, man,
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good look, and you know, and I know it's not traditional wrestling style gear, but you know, just sometimes, you know, hey, if they got a good look, just change it up a little bit. Let them come out wrestling that, and not saying that. And I know it's probably like a comfort level and all that stuff too. But anyways, I liked just the regular look of these guys coming to clean house, like looking like they came for a bar fight. I like that.
Yeah, and we also got shirtless Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, he had his golds in, didn't he? During this when he came out, yeah, dude. Man, that guy's got a great look, man.
Mm-hmm.
He is good.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing. He's
not as good as me, but you know, hey,
he's no Tama Tonga, but he's good. I bet you they rue the day they sign that kid every single day. But I digress because we're going to go on to Julia versus Chelsea Green, and I wasn't all that impressed by Julia. I mean, she was good, she was fine, but I was expecting I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting like when Kevin Owens first appeared and he had like 100 different moves I had never seen before, just doing stuff and moving the way he's not supposed to move. Kevin Owens, I think, was probably one of the more, like when he first came to the main roster, was one of the more impressive things. Just the move set that he had. Julia's move set was kind of, I mean, a lot of her stuff was just kind of basic. Knee here is basically Japanese style wrestling. You know, hard hitting knees, things like that. It just wasn't something that I was too impressed by. And
you got all racist Josh is Japanese.
He never left. But you know, I don't know. I do love her look though, but I need to see more for me to anoint her. I was expecting somebody who I was going to say, oh, she needs to be in the main roster. And I saw her wrestle, and I'm not saying that yet. And she had a very good dance partner too. So it's not like she was wrestling some TNA schlub. They not TNA, NXT schlub. They got Chelsea Green to wrestle against her.
Now, excuse me. Sorry for viewers. See what I would like to know, like the company she came from. Is it that? Do all the wrestlers do like that? Is it the strong style, or is it a blend? Kind of like, you know. I mean, I don't know. Is she going against people with the with a Nakamura like this strong style like move set, or is it like multiple types of dance partners like a Chelsea Green or something like that? Because if it's just predominantly strong style, I can understand how it may be a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah.
Coming up, but I just don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be like, oh yeah, I've seen her all the time. I have not.
Right. That was the first time I ever seen her wrestle.
Yeah, me too.
All I'm saying is that her match was fine. I'm not saying that there was nothing wrong with it, but I wanted to be wowed, and I was not wowed.
But that's understandable because the way they kept mentioning her and the anticipation and how she was debuted at at the PLE. Oh yeah, nah, 100% get it for sure.
Yeah, okay.
She got the win here, obviously.
Yeah, she got the yeah. She was never going to lose her first match. I also don't know why they brought in Chelsea Green for her to wrestle, but it is what it is. But next up, we got the Heritage Cup with Charlie Dempsey and Javon Evans. He was getting bouncy, and I'm going to tell you something. For viewers, I still play video games. I don't care. Even though I'm an adult, I will never stop. I was playing NBA 2K25 today, and one of the announcers said bouncy.
No.
And yes, said bouncy. And I did not know what was going on, and I almost threw my game out the window because of it. I almost lost a system, a video game system, because I was so taken aback by bouncy. So maybe it's becoming mainstream, or maybe it always was, and he just says it, and we're just old folks punching at clouds, not understanding the new lingo of today's youth. I don't know. But Dempsey got the win against Javon Evans to keep his Heritage Cup. How long until Cedric Alexander and Javon Evans feud? When does that happen?
I don't know. Now, this is when didn't Tavion Heights come out and do the belly to belly and then toss Evans back into the ring? Was that?
Yes.
Was that in this one?
No, I don't remember that happening in this episode.
I think it was. I think Tavion Heights. I think that's how Dempsey won. There was a distraction, and then Tavion Heights came back.
Yeah,
he'd been wrestling.
You're right. Yeah.
And again, I did not see any of the matches, but again, in one of these cross promotional things, he was over wrestling in Japan.
Yeah.
And from everything I've read, did very well. It looked good.
Yeah.
And my God, dude, that sometimes it's all about delivery, and when you know how to do a move, and when you look just natural doing it, it makes all the difference. That when he does that is a believable finishing move. A guy that big and strong just doing something like that, and it makes it look so much more strong doing it against a guy like Evans.
Yeah,
just because and I like Evans, but just compared to Tavion Heights, he's already skinny, but he looks even skinnier against a guy like that.
100%.
And but dude,
I think some meat on that bones.
I think Heights, if he's polished correctly, man, he has a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, I agree.
The kid, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how he progresses.
Yeah. Next up, we got another title match. This was Obafemi versus Hammerstone.
Never heard of Hammerstone?
Do not know what a Hammerstone is. He was a very stocky, muscular-looking gentleman who they said he weighed 250. Man, he looked like a 300-pound bulldozer.
I was say 250 plus 50.
Yeah, but Obafemi got the win. I wasn't a big fan of Hammerstone's wrestling. Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine, and I hate something like that because a guy that size should have received more of a reaction or believability. But the fact he was coming from TNA and not a lot of people knew who he was, it just again takes away the what's going to happen here factor, and we all knew Oba was going to win.
And the fact that he's got probably the dumbest name in the history of wrestling. What's worse than Hammerstone?
Isaac Yankum.
Yeah, but he was a dentist. He was a professional.
Okay, I got a gripe. So, going back to what we said earlier about Gunther, and welcoming challengers. So, they portrayed the Don as taking Oba to the limit, and now, instead of just facing him again, the Don is paying Hammerstone to go in there or sending Stacks in the week before to go and fight him. And it's just, and yes, I know we're going to get the silliness because of the character. I get that to a degree, but it doesn't fit how the character has been portrayed up to this point.
Yeah.
I don't like that because Tony
Mm.
D'Angelo is a believable person to overthrow the Don, and obviously they're going to go back to it. So I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know why you're, like we said earlier, like making, essentially, even if it's unintentional, making him look weak.
Yeah.
But, and because I don't know if this is the case, I can't help but to wonder if they had to call an audible for the way they're leading up to the rematch, because dude, he rolled that ankle bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no denying that. And to the point that when they were checking on him, the camera was off of him, and Obo did good, just playing the heel towards the crowd, and while they were checking on him. But I mean, especially, dude, you've played basketball pretty much your whole life, and you know how like a bum ankle can linger, especially when you have to move around on it quite a bit. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if, to continue getting to where they wanted to get to, if they have to change things up a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But again, if this is the plan about how they're going to get back to this, I don't like it. I don't like that they're doing that, because he's a believable person to win.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my gripe about that. Because if you are confused, the Don in a previous segment was seen giving a wad of cash or an envelope of cash to a figure in the shadows, and it ended up being a Hammerstone.
Hammerstone.
Okay, and then after Ova lost, the Don and the family were watching it backstage, and the Don just stormed off. So, anyways,
yeah. Didn't like the performance by Hammerstone. But next up, we got your favorite wrestler, Ridge Holland, versus Duke Hudson. Ridge Holland got the win. This was not the best.
wasn't the worst either.
Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst, but we're not going to spend too much time on it because it's Ridge Holland.
Dude, I still don't. They finally got people rooting for him, and then they immediately throw it away. I just, of a lot of and there's been a lot of questionable things this year, like booking over there. Like, hey, what was the thought process behind that? I would love to ask, what was y'all's thought process behind finally getting people to cheer for him, and then them going right back to booing?
Because now they're booing for a different reason. Before they were booing because they didn't want him on TV. Now they're booing because they don't like him, and they don't like him from a kayfabe perspective, as opposed to like a shoot perspective. So I think it's a different type of booing. I kind of understand it. He's getting a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And the reaction is related to what happened on TV as opposed to what didn't. And I think that's what they wanted. That's what they got. And we'll see how long they can be champions. Or they're not champions.
No,
are they champions?
No,
they lost their title.
Yeah, they lost.
We'll see how long. We'll see how long they drag this out. But don't want to spend too much time on that, because we have another title match, and it's Jordynne Grace versus an open challenge, which was answered by Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca has no business beating Jordynne Grace, in my opinion, just based off of Jordynne Grace's stature. And,
I agree.
And if they let Sol Ruca win the TNA title, then I really want to get a copy of whatever contract TNA has, because the WWE has made all TNA athletes look like just a completely inferior. Glad they did not let Sol Ruca get this win. She took the loss. Good on her for getting a title match and making her way down to the ring. So
I'm extremely confused for this open challenge, and all the ladies in the back were talking about who's going to do it, this and that. So Did they just all let Sol Ruka walk out from the locker room to make this? Because
That's the way
remember
it
when
works.
because I liked, even though it was a little silly, I liked the way they did it for Javon Evans
Yeah.
when he came from the crowd, like behind Dragunov, and answered the challenge. That was cool. I like that. But
Yeah.
um, mm, but yeah, I don't. I agree that Sol Ruka wasn't going to win and shouldn't be winning, but I mean that's just what they're doing. That's part of the cross promotional thing. With the exception of when Wesley lost, the TNA folks aren't going to win on NXT,
But
and
even
then
those TNA folks were old NXT people.
yeah, and then same thing vice versa because the NXT folks have been going to TNA and losing on TV and
Yeah.
televised stuff. So it's fun, but I did like this match. But it's just one of those things that we talk about all the time when the result is pretty much a lock. It just
Yeah. I agree. But lastly, we got the main event: Trick Williams versus Pete Dunne, and last man standing match. And this match was fine. There was a spot though where Pete Dunne got beat up, and he started, 1, 2, and he got all the way to 9, and you think the match is over, and then he starts stirring like he never got hurt at 9. My only issue is he wasn't squirming for 1 through 8.
Yeah.
Like, just to go from dead to 100 that quickly, that's a weird move to me.
Right.
So,
and All Ego was ringside for this, and
ego.
And what did he try to do?
I don't remember.
He tried to interfere somehow, but it ended up backfiring, and now he's going to have to fight Trick again.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get one more of that, and then it's time for Ethan Page to go to the main roster. That is what I think. He's not going to, but that is what I think. That is what I want, and
I do too. I think it's going to happen.
We'll leave SmackDown at that because now it is time to talk about the show. We will leave NXT to go to SmackDown. To go to is it SmackDown? Yeah, to go to SmackDown. And SmackDown started off with a steel cage match. Is that correct?
Yes. That kicked off the show. Yeah, that's and very interesting. Oh, it got more interesting. So it was Solo versus Cody. And Cody had said that regardless, he was done with the bloodline after this match. And
wait. He's not going to be done with the bloodline after that match?
Wait and see. So I really liked this match. What I thought was very strange, there was no outside interference. And Cody won clean. Very clean. And some good false finishes and some moves I just had no business getting kicked out of. And my goodness, there was a superplex spot which looked like Cody landed very awkwardly, and just some of these moves they do I just don't think should be done from the top of a cage. I just don't.
At least they're not doing the stuff that AEW is doing from the top of the cage.
Yeah. And then even later when Cody went up there and did a crossbody from the top rope, and it looked like Solo hit the back of his head on his fall pretty hard from doing it. And but it Cody won clean, and then Bloodline surrounds the ring, comes in, then Roman comes out and starts cleaning house, and then Jacob Fatu had been at the top of the cage and was about to jump from it when the music hit, and he got down and he got Solo out of the cage, but then Roman called Jacob into the cage. and the crowd was going nuts. And Jacob Fatu gets in there, and when he starts pumping himself up about the charge at Roman, old Solo grabs him and yanked him out of the cage.
Good.
And yeah,
That's the way it should be.
yes, good story. Then the look on Jacob Fatu's face when he's over there like still praising the tribal
Solo, I love you.
Oh, dude, I love that, man. I love you. So, so yeah, that very good match. I did enjoy it. I'm just very, very, very surprised that they had Solo take a clean loss, pinfall loss in a match like this when they had ample opportunity to get some sort of, I mean, I know there's no disqualification, no counter, but an ample opportunity to get some sort of screwy finish.
Well, I mean, it could potentially be setting up a storyline for later on. So you never know.
Yeah.
You never know with this regime. I will trust that they are making the right decision in reference to this, but I will also trust that they don't know how to end this. I don't think they know how to make this come to an end, so they're just going to keep dragging this out. And
I think all things will be answered.
It's a good problem to have
when during WrestleMania season.
Yeah,
so
maybe. But next up, we got Michin versus Piper Niven.
Oh, this is horrible.
Yeah, so
way
we're not
going to short. Way too short. And Michin took the loss, which. And again, dude, I don't know who they're trying to build at what time. It looked like, okay, maybe they're going to start building Piper back up. She had a good showing at Clash of the Castle, and then, I haven't seen too much of her. But, it's same thing, Michin. She's put up good performances. Maybe give her some more momentum with a win. No, that didn't happen either.
Yeah, no.
It was way too short.
Bleacher had a very good query. They asked, why doesn't anyone ever ask why kendo sticks are stored under the ring? Very good question.
And
why are they
always had a hard time finding them. It took her a while. I don't know if she just overlooked it because it looked like she looked at where they were multiple times.
10 times,
but,
yeah.
But,
well, next up, we got A-Town Down Under versus Kevin Owens and was it a surprise partner?
It was a mystery opponent, and he was told that his partner he picked couldn't make it because of travel issues, and then he brought out Ricky. Yeah, and I'd never seen this person, but then one of the people from outside the somebody from the crew was like, "Hey, he's here," and then whose music's gonna hit? It was the Vipers. He came out and good match, and Kevin Owens did something I really, really enjoyed here in this match when he was kept trying unsuccessfully to get the hot tag over to Orton. At one point when he was back over by A-Town Down Under's corner, instead of trying to crawl his way over, fight his way over, he rolled out of the ring, ran around it, and jumped back in right at the corner so he could tag Randy Orton, and it was amazing.
Smart.
Yeah, and then smart. They did a tandem, or they did in unison the draped DDT, and then they both did the pounding on the thing. Owens delivered another great stunner to Austin Theory, and he went flying up in the air again. And
he's so good.
And then Orton hit the RKO on a Waller. And then after the match, like Orton was pointing to the outside of the ring, and by like outside the ring, like by the ramp, like A-Town Down, so they were both still writhing in pain on the ground. Oh, it was great, man! Just a great visual. And Orton and Owens were laughing. It was good, man. It was good match all the way around. And dude, I'm going to say something, and I think you may disagree with this, and we could probably have a whole discussion on this. I think Randy Orton is the best seller in WWE.
Right now?
Yes.
Is Brock in this conversation? Is he considered a WWE employee?
He is, but Brock can go, and you can tell if Brock likes you because he will go really over the top with it. But I like how Orton doesn't. Like, the way he sold for Gunther was a masterclass to me.
Yeah.
Because even in the Logan Paul feud, just some of the stuff he was doing, I was like, is he really hurt? You know, just the way he grimaces, like grabbing his lower back. It's like, okay, he had back surgery, and that actually looks like he may be fighting through pain right
Yeah.
now. As opposed to, I love it. I love when Austin Theory goes flying 10 feet in the air when he takes a stunner.
Oh, it's so good.
I think he could dunk on a 15-foot hoop. If he can get that high off a stunner, I can only
if he
imagine
gets stunned first.
what his vertical is. Yeah. I mean, it's like some NBA jam hops. And
but he's on fire.
But yeah, man, just the way Orton sells, it makes you think that, okay, is he really hurt here? And I like that. Now, I love the overselling, but I like the selling that's so good. It's like, you know, did he re-aggravate this injury or that one? But anyways, just had to throw that in
there. Okay. Well, next up we had match number 5 between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I'm still thinking that I'm going to be correct, and they will eventually be a tag team one day after they have a 7-match series. Maybe not, but yes, this was good. It was always going to be good because they are one very good wrestler and Carmelo Hayes. So they are.
Stop this.
Just kidding. 2 very good wrestlers. I like this.
This had a very good ending when Andrade delivered the message from the second rope, or the second the middle turnbuckle.
Yeah,
and it looked good. It was, and I was like, okay. And but I was about to lose it. I was like, if Carmelo Hayes kicks out of this, I'm going to have to turn the channel for about 10 seconds.
I hear you.
But no, Carmelo did not, and Andrade won, and then LA Knight's music hit, and he was at the top of the ramp with the belt, and that is your next match, or your future U.S. title challengers, Andrade versus LA Knight. Yeah.
Yes, it is, and then
we are going to turning him heel. I feel like this even LA Knight, even some of the delivery of his promos are kind of leaning that way a little bit, in my opinion. And then now he's going against Andrade. I'm wondering if there's about to be a full-out turn.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Could be, but last up, because there was not many matches on this card, but last up, actually, this isn't even a match. Those are the only matches. We got Roman Reigns.
Wait, hold on. No, we had one more segment before this. Nia Jax was out there talking. Bayley interrupted. And then Tiffy Time came out. And then Naomi came out. And there's a stipulation coming up for who is potentially going to fight Nia Jax, because Nia said, Nick Aldis has told me I'm defending my title with Bad Blood. I don't know against who yet, but I don't care. And so here's the stipulation. Next week there's a tag match. It's Tiffy and Nia versus Bayley and Naomi. Okay, let me get this right here. If Bayley and Naomi win, whichever one gets the pinfall, but this is how I interpreted this, gets the match at Bad Blood. However, if Bayley and Naomi lose, whoever eats the pinfall permanently leaves SmackDown.
Okay.
And I was like,
interesting.
So I can already tell you what's going to happen, and I think you'll probably agree. They're both going to pin Tiffy at the same time. Which is going to lead to a triple threat match.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're probably right.
Because I don't see either one of them leaving SmackDown right now to go to Raw.
Yeah, you're probably right. You are probably right about that.
But I felt that needed to be brought up for.
But you also never know where people are going to go with the return of Becky Lynch and the return of Charlotte Flair. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what they're going to do. So she could switch shows, and I don't envision the two of them, Charlotte and Tiffy, being on the same show. You don't want to have two blonde bombshells in the same show. I don't think. I think that you want to save that because I think that they will eventually wrestle each other. I don't know when.
Oh, it's happened. Right.
Yeah, but you never know. But let's move on to the main event, which saw the return of Roman Reigns, and we got to hear his voice for the first time. And I'm starting to think I might have actually watched SmackDown because I remember all of this.
I was going to say, when you were like, "Oh yeah, this was good," I thought you said you didn't see it.
Dude, I watched so much wrestling; it's all blending together. But yeah, good to hear Roman's voice. I didn't notice this, but there was a point in time where Roman was outside the ring, and he looked to his left for the wise man. Like the wise man would always be to his left behind him.
I did not catch that. Okay,
with his belt, and he looked. And then he looked back down the middle, kind of angry, or not angry, but like sad or disappointed that there was no one to his left like there normally was.
Very nice.
And I did not catch it, but somebody pointed it out. And that's exactly what happened. And that's just chef's kiss storytelling right there. And great attention to detail by Roman Reigns, so good on him for doing that. But always good to see Roman, always good to hear his voice. Obviously there was a time where that wasn't the case, but that time is long gone. Now he is the most beloved wrestler in the company. So but we're getting a tag match. The tag match that nobody wanted. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline. And I only want this. Well, actually, no, they said it's going to be Sikoa. It's going to be Solo and Fatu, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I do want that. Well, I want Jacob. I don't need Solo. So that's going to be fun. Watching Jacob finally get to interact with Roman Reigns in a physical way. That's going to be very fun.
Oh, yeah.
And
I agree.
Looking forward to that. But this is just an excuse to get Roman on TV. I like it. We got to see him.
Yeah,
we need more Roman.
Dude, this is just weird. I just think they have to do this and force Cody into it. I don't like it.
I don't like it, but you know what? I don't like Cody right now. And they've got to keep him as champion. They got to keep him relevant, and everything he's doing right now is kind of boring. So I don't like it. I understand it. I'm okay with it. I don't have to like everything that I'm okay with. So that's where we are with that. And what I also don't like is that wraps up episode 43 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. I'm glad that we kept it at just talking about 3 shows, because there's no chance in heck that we would have made it this far if we didn't start with Raw. But that being said, if you like what you heard, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And wake up, Wade, because it's time for our salutations, and we will see you next time on the Golden Squeeze podcast.
Oh, nice.
Oh. Yeah.